genesis for writer-director Jesse Eisenberg's second feature, A Real Pain, began when he promised his great-aunt Doris, a Polish Holocaust survivor, that if he was ever in Europe filming a movie, he would stop by her hometown of Krasnostav. He got that opportunity in 2007 after shooting The Hunting Party in Bosnia. So he and his wife flew to Poland and booked a tour they saw advertised as Holocaust Tours with Lunch. I actually think that would have made a charming title for this film. Hey, I'm Mike. I studied film, I work in TV, and I love movies. Hey guys, we're going to be talking about some spoilers today, so if you haven't seen the film, you've been warned. A Real Pain is about cousins Benji and David. Benji is played by Kieran Culkin, and David by Jesse Eisenberg, as they return to Poland to visit their recently deceased grandmother's homeland. The film loosely follows the tour that Eisenberg and his wife took back in 2007. At the heart of the film is the relationship of the cousins, who were once close, but are now estranged. Benji is impulsive and follows his heart, and David is cautious and meticulous. Benji is the ego to David's id. Both are dealing with their own kind of pain. David is suffering crippling anxiety, and Benji, we discover, is reeling after a recent suicide attempt. The film addresses the commercialization of tours such as these. By day, they're being taken from solemn sight to solemn sight. But at night, they're dining in fine restaurants and smoking pot on the roof of their posh hotels. There is a powerful scene where Benji is uncomfortable traveling in the first-class rail cars, where just 80 years before, his ancestors would have been corralled in the back like cattle. He has a small breakdown and storms off.
Mad impressive. You're all mad impressive, but you know what? I'm going to go to the back of the train now, okay?
I don't think you'll find much suffering back there either.
As Americans, the need to see where our ancestors have come from is almost a rite of passage, and A Real Pain leans into this niche travel industry and puts the hypocrisy on display. The rest of their tour group consists of travelers seeking their own truth. There's an older Jewish-American couple seemingly doing the obligatory trip to the homeland. There's a well-to-do Jewish-American woman played by Jennifer Grey who is restarting her life after a divorce. And most interestingly, there's a Rwandan genocide survivor who converted to Judaism. He appears to be the most devoutly Jewish one in the group. He's the only one who understands the horrors of a genocide, having witnessed one firsthand in Rwanda. The tour is headed up by an Oxford-educated Brit who appears to be the only tourist in the group. He's not Jewish, he's not descendant from survivors, he hasn't witnessed a genocide firsthand, and he has no real connection to the people or the culture outside of an academic fascination. We get a peek into each of the characters and what they're dealing with, but never really get to see them learn or grow. Jesse Eisenberg's script won the Waldo Salt Award at the Sundance Film Festival. And I like when actors write. We've seen a lot of actors direct, but actors really understand character, and Eisenberg really shows his chops here. Each character has a solid backstory and are really grappling with their own demons. Unfortunately, all we get is the presentation of their fears and insecurities, and never really get a resolution. But is that the point? It got me thinking, is A Real Pain the filmic equivalent of sitting Shiva? Sitting Shiva is a Jewish mourning ritual that involves a week-long period of refraining from regular activities to make space for grief and reflection. In this case, we sit Shiva for 90 minutes to reflect on the events of the Holocaust, to think about the Rwandan genocide, to remember David and Benji's grandmother, to think about what to do after a messy divorce. Eventually, the guys get to their ancestral home and it is decidedly anticlimactic. Point of fact, the actual house used in the film is Jesse Eisenberg's actual ancestral home. They leave stones on the stoop as a remembrance of their grandmother, and then are quickly told to remove them because they could be a hazard for the people living there. The film has a lot of comedy in it, in between the somber moments. The film ends practically where it began. David and Benji part ways in the airport where they first met, and rather than go home, Benji decides to stay in the airport for a bit longer. The last shot is of Benji sitting in the airport surrounded by travelers of all sorts. It seems he's among his people. Is he a traveler through life, or does he just have no place to go? Jesse Eisenberg has said that he wrote the Benji part for himself, but was talked out of playing Benji and trying to direct the script that he wrote by producer Emma Stone. It's probably a good call. Kieran Culkin owns the Benji role. They shot on location in Poland, all around Warsaw, and at the Majdanek concentration camp. Majdanek is the most intact concentration camp left from the war, and notoriously refused productions such as these from shooting there. They want to be respectful to the people who died and not have actors running around in Nazi costumes. I understand that. But Jesse Eisenberg came to them with a script that was in line with their mission, and the historians there helped with the script and historical clarification. A Real Pain is being received exceptionally well, having been nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards for Best Picture, Best Actor for Eisenberg, Best Supporting Actor for Culkin, who won the statue, and Best Screenplay. It was named by the American Film Institute and the National Review Board as one of the top 10 films of 2024. It's a good film, and the characters make it worth the watch. Jesse Eisenberg is proving himself to be a talented writer, director, actor, and Kieran Culkin is a breath of fresh air in an otherwise somber film. But much like placing stones on a gravesite, when it was over, I felt like I had sat Shiva. I spent 90 minutes in silent observation, punctuated by a few moments of levity from the cousin you love hanging out with. Thanks for watching, everyone. Of course, these are my opinions, and I love reading your thoughts, so please comment below. Film is about community. I'm Mike, and I love film.